Today we are...
Please listen carefully.
The train stations in New South Wales, or in Sydney anyway, you use a card called an Opal card. There are different ones in different states, so there's something different in Victoria. The Opal card, you can pick them up in most of the supermarkets, a lot of the convenience stores will sell them too. And it's just a tap on, tap off. But you can here, which is a really good system, just use your regular bank card. As long as you've got a bank card that's compatible, I think you can just use the bank card. And as you tap on, it'll just say success, a little tick comes up so you can go through. Great idea. Just like a double-decker bus, but a double-decker train. I think it's the first time I've been on a double-decker train.
I think so, me too.
Yeah, it is the first time. So that was definitely a good choice. We decided not to bring the car in. It was about 40 minutes by car, but then you've got to find parking in the city centre, which is always going to be a problem. Getting that train in, it's taken about 40 minutes as well. It's only about maybe $2.50, $2.70 for the whole day on a Sunday here in Sydney, so nice and easy. So this is the crossroad of Pitt Street and George Street. So we're on George Street, the George Street Mall. I think it's pedestrianised. There are tram lines, but they seem to be either not in use at the moment. They are actually renovating down here. So George Street, an iconic street in the centre of Sydney. It's got all the big stores. So we're entering one of my favourite buildings in Sydney. I haven't been here for several years, but it's the Queen Victoria building. And you've seen it from the outside. So here is from the inside. Got this beautiful clock tower. It's got multiple level shopping precincts. Really is a lovely building. Queen Victoria building on George Street in Sydney. Real historical old building. I certainly think if you're in Sydney Centre, you could come in here and actually, sit down, capture a really good atmosphere, have coffee. Well worth the visit. So what can I tell you about Sydney? One thing is for sure, a lot of people overseas, think Sydney is our capital city. It is not. Canberra's the capital of Australia, but Sydney often is mistaken, and I think it's because of the iconic photographs that are seen all over the world of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House, of course. And I can only really think that's the main reason why it's always confused as the capital. I love all these beautiful, old, historic, Victorian-style buildings that you see in the centre of Sydney. When you look at that, it's almost like Gotham City. Beautiful clock tower coming out from the side of that building. That is absolutely fantastic. So today is a few days after Christmas. The decorations are still up. I love this building. It's got the kangaroo and the ostrich. What's that building called? I'll go around here to see it. Oh, it's the post office. Oh, it's the post office. Gorgeous is that? Oh, now here's a Christmas tree and a half. I wonder how long. Generally, you're going to take the Christmas decorations down.
So where is it, honey?
Within, what is it, 12 days? 12th night? Oh, you'll have to remind me. But look at this Christmas tree. How gorgeous is this? Size of these baubles. They're like those mint sweets. Pretty solid as well. Pretty solid. So these fellas just came up to me, a couple of guys here from Poland, asked me to take a photograph, I'm holding the camera and I'm thinking I can't see anything through this camera. I recognise the style of camera. I know that I should know, and I'm thinking, is it a Hasselblad? And then I click it and it goes zzz, and a little piece of paper comes out the side, and of course it's one of those new Polaroid cameras, so it's really cool. So they're getting organised. Wouldn't be surprised if people are actually here already for the Sydney Bridge fireworks display. Hello, how are you? You on holiday?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Okay. Say home ah.
Oh, 你好. 你好.
你好. 普通话. Bye bye.
There's the opera house just peeking over the top.
Okay, so
And there's the bridge.
this big ship that's in here. This reminds me, you can see the opera house just here. This reminds me a little of the Star Ferry in Hong Kong. Just the livery, the colour of these. So this is Circular Quay. That ferry coming in looks very much like
Would you like me to take a photo of both of you?
there's a couple here, beautiful wedding couple, giving their wedding photos. I was trying to film it. Ah, oui, d'accord.
Ah ouais. Ouais, ouais, elle est bonne là. Non, elle est pas bonne.
Oh, the boat or the building?
Lève le bras. Encore. Là. Stop plus. Ouais, mais c'est pas nous qui prends la photo.
Perfect.
À côté de Lyon.
Lyon. Ok, Lyon.
Plus vers la Suisse.
Oui, oui, d'accord. Je comprends.
70 km.
So they're from.
Entre Lyon et Genève.
D'accord.
On travaille à Genève.
C'est les Suisses?
No, Australian. From Melbourne.
Australiens?
Melbourne, yeah.
Sydney.
Yeah. Welcome to Australia. Welcome. Bienvenue.
On va aller voir le pont.
Déjà venu en France?
Tomorrow is the fireworks on Sydney Bridge, and the French couple, or there's 4 or 5 couples there, were asking us where would be the best place. Well, best place would probably be over here on the Opera House. Can I see it there? So probably on the Opera House. But a lot of those areas are ticketed. It's really hard to get on. Most of the public areas are going to be absolutely chock-a-block on New Year's Eve. So we've suggested to them go round a little further round to Darling Harbour. It's still going to be absolute bedlam. I'm certainly not going to come down here. And now the French guys doing family photos. So it is one of those places you'll come and lots of people will say, take this photo for me. So it's the Majestic Princess. This is a huge boat.
It's in the way. You can't see the opera house.
It's blocking the view. It's blocking the view, isn't it? But I suspect. I wonder if this boat is going to be in tomorrow night. Because if this boat is in for fireworks night, for the big fireworks display, the bridge is just over there. What a view! But I suspect, I don't know. I suspect they may be filling up and leaving. Someone's on the top there waving, just a little speck. So the security guys just told me the boat leaves this evening at about 6 o'clock. So there'll be no boats in the harbour for the firework display, which kind of makes sense. It's a really huge and very famous firework display. And this is only hundreds of metres away from the bridge. So we're getting very close to the Sydney Harbour Bridge now, and you're getting these beautiful old buildings, these old dockyard buildings, the old dockyard buildings, should I say. Obviously with the modern, this side we've got this very modern building, on this side a more traditional old style Sydney building. So we're now right down, just underneath the bridge, on the harbour side here. Look at this bridge, how beautiful that is. Now there are tours you can do to actually climb over the Sydney Bridge. They're not on this week because of the firework displays, and they set up the pyrotechnics on this bridge are quite amazing. It looks like a brewery just over here as well, just behind me, look. Just here, got a brewery up here. I mean, this is what Sydney is all about really. It's the harbour, the beautiful old buildings around the harbour. So this road area going down to the bridge is all cordoned off, and the security guy here was just telling me it's pretty common, because what happens when the big cruise ship that you can see behind me, the one here, when that comes in, they get all their deliveries. So they have some big trucks coming in here and delivering. So they cordon this area off just to make it sort of pedestrian friendly. It's interesting sometimes just to see their nice little Italian bistro. They're not serving at the moment, but it's interesting just to see what the prices are. So I'll put that up on the screen now. You can check out what we pay for Italian. And pretty much though, this is very central Sydney. So this guy on a unicycle up here, no ordinary unicycle.
Last week I saw a movie here, $18 for one ticket, and the movie wasn't even
So he's
that good.
pitching.
So I think 10 is pretty cheap. If you can't afford 10, 5 or a couple gold coins.
It's really strange. Now I know it's expensive in Australia, but the guy is actually saying, you know, $10, $20 is normal for what I'm doing. You know, I think it's good value, and he's saying this to his audience. $10, $20. Australia is expensive, but if you're going to get on the street and do a bit of street performing, don't start telling people how much they should put in. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's a nice enough guy. The girl actually came down and tried to take the burger out of her hand while she's walking down the street, and actually tried to grab the food out the girl's hand. Cheeky little monkeys. There he is. That fellow there. Where is he? There. He flew over my head. I may have caught that on camera, but he flew over my head. There was a girl just walking in front of me, and he just dropped down and tried to steal the food out of her hand. How cool. So it's got to be done. You've got to come down to the harbour. It's what Sydney's all about. There's actually, what is the fun park here? Is it also called
Lunar Parks, isn't it?
Lunar Parks as well? We've got a fun park on the other side of the harbour. I mean, if you can't find something to do in central Sydney, I mean, there's no hope for you. One's are bike tours. So when you come the other side of the boat that's moored there, you can actually see just through these pillars here, Sydney Opera House. So here's the building I think is to blame for almost everybody that I meet around the world thinking that Sydney is the capital of Australia. Sure, it's the Opera House. Now you can see if you're actually here at the, oh, there's the bridge, but if you're here at the Opera House, what a great view for the fireworks. But it's a ticketed event down here. It'll be very difficult to come down, and it will be complete bedlam. I mean, I think they've ticketed it because it got a little out of control. Because at one time you could just come down here and watch the fireworks. So it's like close to the New Year's Eve firework expo. Fireworks. I've lost Michelle. Nice to have a picture with her, but she's vanished. So we climb the steps to the Sydney Opera House. It's remarkable how very plain the tiles are. They look like just regular bathroom tiles, don't they?
On your patio, you're a bit.
I always thought they were special. I don't know. I came here many years ago and I always thought the tiles were something a little bit unusual, but they look just like regular bathroom tiles. I'm sure they're an external ceramic tile and a very high quality. It's just from this close, I think the grouting needs redoing. So I think this is where our children used to climb when we came here. I always thought it was the actual tiles of the Opera House, but I think it was just these banked areas. They've got signs on there now. In the interest of safety.
Do not climb on angled panels.
Yeah.
So we won't.
I have a sneaky suspicion they used to climb there anyway. I think those signs were there before. Here we are. There's those bathroom tiles again. And there is the Sydney there is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And there'll be fireworks all along the riverside, the sort of shoreline here as well, but the most impressive fireworks will be these from the actual bridge. They'll be raining down cascades of beautiful pyrotechnics. It's really pretty. So we're just talking again. I don't like to film them, but chatting with the security guard, and we're saying maybe tomorrow night, I think they've got 400 guards in this area alone. So I think he and I were agreeing it's probably best just to watch this on the telly, and you'll get really good vantage points. The TV gets such good coverage. Now the atmosphere is great to be here, but if you watch it on the television at 5 past midnight, you can go to bed. And just down from the Opera House itself, only a few hundred metres away, is the Royal Botanical Gardens, which is a real treat. I mean, it's a beautiful gardens, well worth the visit. I absolutely love Botanical Gardens. Every single city I visit, I try to get to the Botanical Gardens. I know the Sydney ones are pretty huge and they're probably almost worth a visit on their own because they're so good. They have bats that are hanging the trees at night. The bats come down, and everything's signposted. It's nice and cool on a hot day, so definitely get yourself across from, if you like, from the Opera House entrance. Just come into the Botanical Gardens and you can spend a good hour or two here, or even just bring yourself a picnic and make a day of it.
Better go up this way, haven't we?
I think so. Oh look, it's a boab tree. Is it a boab? So it's not actually a boab, it's a Queensland bottle tree. Beautiful steep stairs, stone stairs, worn over the centuries of walking. It's got a lot of history. Really, really beautiful city. Ooh. So we're heading home. On the eve before New Year's Eve, it's bedlam in the city today. We've got to get on the train here from not far from the Opera House, and we'll change at Town Hall and back out and home. I'll be quite happy to get in and have a relax and a good cold drink. I've got to say the Sydney trains are remarkably clean. No, the Melbourne trains are never this clean, and there's usually graffiti over everywhere, but there's no graffiti that I can see on these trains at all. So well done, Sydney. I think the upstairs downstairs train system is good, but there is very limited area for bikes, pushchairs, disabled, so it does mean majority of people have to either go upstairs or downstairs, but no, it's pretty simple. And the other odd thing is your level is level with the platform, so when it comes into each station, you're kind of down below the platform looking up, so don't be wearing mini skirts on the platform. So just me thinking that, Michelle?
No, I'd already thought that when I saw young girls walking along with their little shorts.
So we've got a whole carriage to ourselves, 2 more stations to go, and we'll be home. It's been a good day out.
We'll be at the car.
We'll be at the car. We actually got to get back to the suburb we're in. Oh, it's been a warm day, but it's been beautiful. Thank you very much, Sydney. We'll try and get into Sydney again before we leave.